राम राम सर्वेभ्यः हृत्पूर्वकनमस्काराः। प्रवेशकक्ष्यायां सर्वेषां स्वागतम्। अद्य सप्ततितमकक्ष्या वर्तते। षष्ठं पाठं वयं सर्वे पठिष्यामः। गतकक्ष्यायामपि अस्माभिः षष्ठः पाठः पठितः। यथा प्रतिवारं कुर्मः तथैव गुरुवन्दनम् उक्त्वा मङ्गलश्लोकद्वयं च उक्त्वा कक्ष्यायाः प्रारम्भं कुर्मः। आदौ किञ्चिदिव पुनरावर्तनं कृत्वा तदनन्तरं नूतनपाठं पठिष्यामः। सर्वे कृपया उच्चैः गुरुवन्दनं तथा मङ्गलश्लोकद्वयं च वदन्तु इति प्रार्थये। गुरुरेव गतिर्गुरुमेव भजे, गुरुणैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे। न गुरोः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोः, मतिरस्ति गुरौ मम पाहि गुरो। ब्रवीमि संस्कृतं वाचा, ध्यायामि संस्कृतं हृदा। कुर्वे सेवाञ्च कायेन, वन्दे संस्कृतमातरम्। यो नरः संस्कृतव्योम्निः ह्यालयं रमते मुदा, संस्कृतिं चैव संस्कारं विन्दते नात्र संशयः। षष्ठे पाठे अस्माभिः तृतीया विभक्ति रूपाणि पठितानि। तृतीया विभक्तिः कदा उपयुज्यते इत्यपि अस्माभिः पठितं। सूक्तिः पठिता। गतकक्ष्यायाम् अव्ययं नाम किम् इति अस्माभिः ज्ञातम्। सदृशं त्रिषु लिङ्गेषु सर्वासु च विभक्तिषु वचनेषु च सर्वेषु यत् न व्येति तत् अव्ययम् इति अस्माभिः ज्ञातम्। सर्वे श्लोकं सम्यक् पठन्तु। तत्र गतकक्ष्यायाम् अर्थमपि ज्ञातम् अस्माभिः। यत् पदं त्रिषु लिङ्गेषु सदृशं, सर्वासु विभक्तिषु च सदृशमेव, वचनेषु च सर्वेषु यत् न व्येति तत् अव्ययम्। सर्वेषु वाक्येषु अव्ययं तथैव भवति। अव्ययस्य अन्यरूपाणि न सन्ति। यथा नामपदानां कृते अथवा यथा विभक्तिरूपाणि सन्ति, यथा क्रियापदरूपाणि सन्ति, तथा अव्ययस्य रूपाणि नैव भवन्ति। न इति पदमपि अव्ययम् एव, च इति पदम् अपि अव्ययम् एव। So in the last class, we had a detailed explanation of what is an avyayam, an indeclinable. It does not have any other forms. In all the vachanas, namangas, genders, in vibhaktis cases, sarvasu cha vibhaktishu, in all the cases, vachaneshu, in all the numbers, that which does not change is called an avyayam. Some examples are cha, and, na, not, ma, do not. So all these we have learned many more examples. In the last class, we have covered this in detail. This is only a quick recap. Jawahar Kannan ji, your question is, what is the difference between upasargas and avyayas? Upasargas are prefixes. So for example, gacchati means goes. Agacchati means comes. So a iti upasargasya upayogena tatra अर्थं तावत् यत् गच्छति इति वदामः गोस् इति आगच्छति आ इति उपसर्गस्य प्रयोगेन आगच्छति भवति. So what happens is with an upasarga when you add it to a dhatu, sometimes the meaning becomes opposite. For example, gachati goes, agachati comes. So a is an upasarga here. Sometimes the meaning increases, enhances the meaning. For example, hasati, smiles or laughs. Vihasati also means smiles or laughs, but with an enhanced meaning. So sometimes an upasarga enhances the meaning. Sometimes I told you it gives an opposite meaning. Sometimes the meaning changes altogether. So for example, harati means to rob or to steal. Samharati means to kill. So with the addition of upasarga sam behind harati, the meaning is completely changing. Viharati, again the meaning is different. Viharati is to stroll or to relax or to walk in a relaxing manner. In all these cases that verb can be used. So viharati. So the meaning, you see how it is completely changing. So upasarga just means a prefix, whereas an avyayam is a completely different concept. An upasarga is added to a dhatu to get to and it has various uses, like I just told you. But an avyayam is a word which cannot be declined at all. So which does not have any other form. That is the meaning. कानिचन अव्ययानि अस्माभिः गतकक्ष्यायां पठितानि पुनः पुनः नैव वदामः. तत्र कक्ष्यायाम् अस्ति, सर्वे तत्र रेकार्डिंग भवति, पश्यन्तु. इदानीं केवलम् अत्र प्रदर्शयामि. कानिचन अव्ययानि. There are many avyayas in Sanskrit. We have shared this PPT on the portal and I'm just quickly showing it to you on the screen. We have read out each of them in the previous class. It is good if you can learn all these avyayas because we will be using them very frequently. A few avyayas we learnt, they are used as a pair. Yada tada, yadi tarhi, yavat tavat, yatha tatha, yadyapi tathapi. Tatra kanichana udaharanani asmabhihi patitani. Samayaha asti chet mama tu. Yada meghah garjati tada mayuraha nrityati. यदि कार्यं समाप्तं तर्हि भवान् गच्छतु. यदा इत्युक्ते when, यदा तदा when then. यदि इत्युक्ते if, यदि कार्यं समाप्तं, if the work is complete, तर्हि भवान् गच्छतु, then you please go. So don't get confused between yada tada and yadi tarhi. There are two different meanings. Yavat tavat, so long as, till then. यावत् सूर्यः भवति तावत् संस्कृतं विराजते. यथा राजा तथा प्रजाः. यद्यपि तथापि, यद्यपि सः बालः तथापि ज्ञानवृद्धः. व्यावहारिकशब्दाः गृहविभागः. We learned this also in the previous class. They are all given in your textbook. Prahelika. Na tasyadihi, na tasyantaha, madhye yastasya tishtati, tavapyasti, mamapyasti, yadi janasi tadvada. Prahelika api asmabhihi patita. Na tasya adihi. न तस्य आदिः, न तस्य आदिः इति स्वीकुर्मः चेत् तस्य आदिः नास्ति इति अर्थं भवति. परं न तस्य आदिः इति स्वीकुर्मश्चेत् तत्र नकारः यः अस्ति, एषः नकारः, सः नकारः तस्य आदिः, तस्य पदस्य आदिः. आदिः इत्युक्ते बिगिनिंग. तस्य नकारः पदस्य आदिः. न तस्य अन्तः. एकम् अर्थम् एकः अर्थः न तस्य अन्तः इत्युक्ते तस्य अन्तः नास्ति इति एकः अर्थः. परं न तस्य अन्तः इति नकारं स्वीकुर्मश्चेत् तत्र नकारः तस्य अन्तः इत्युक्ते न इति अक्षरम् अग्रे अस्ति पदस्य अग्रे, न इति अक्षरं पदस्य अन्ते अस्ति, तत्र मध्ये य इति अक्षरम् अस्ति, मध्ये यः तस्य तिष्ठति. यः इत्युक्ते यकारः. नकारः आदौ, नकारः अन्ते, मध्ये यकारः. तव अपि अस्ति. तव अपि, for you also it is there. मम अपि अस्ति. It is there for me also. यदि जानासि तद् वद. तत्र नयन इति भवति पदम् इत्युक्ते ऐस्, EYES. नयनम् इति पदम् अस्ति. संग्राह्य विषयाः. इदानीं संग्राह्य विषयाः अस्माभिः पठिताः एव. लक्ष्म्याः, देव्याः लक्ष्म्याः विषये श्लोकद्वयं पठितम् अस्माभिः. एकवारम् उक्त्वा तदनन्तरम् अग्रे गच्छामः. नमस्तेस्तु महामाये श्रीपीठे सुरपूजिते शङ्खचक्रगदाहस्ते महालक्ष्मी नमोऽस्तु ते. महामाये श्रीपीठे सुरपूजिते शङ्खचक्रगदाहस्ते महालक्ष्मी. संबोधन प्रथमा विभक्तिः अत्र. भक्तः अथवा भक्ता देवीम् आह्वयति. हे महालक्ष्मी, हे श्रीपीठे, हे सुरपूजिते, हे महामाये, हे शङ्खचक्रगदाहस्ते, ते नमः अस्तु. मे salutations be to you इति. तदनन्तरम् अन्यः श्लोकः. पद्मासनस्थिते देवी परब्रह्मस्वरूपिणी परमेशि जगन्मातः महालक्ष्मी नमोऽस्तु ते. हे पद्मासनस्थिते, हे देवी, हे परब्रह्मस्वरूपिणी, हे परमेशि, हे जगन्मातः, हे महालक्ष्मी, ते नमः अस्तु इति. All these words are adjectives to Goddess Mahalakshmi. They are all in what we call Sambodhana Prathama Vibhaktihi. And Namaha, as you know, is an avyayam. That is an indeclinable. Whenever Namaha is used, the associated word to whomever you are saying salutations, that word should be in Chaturthi Vibhaktihi. That also we all learned. So, te namaha astu. So here, after we address Goddess Mahalakshmi, oh Goddess Mahalakshmi, Jagannataha, Parabrahma Swarupini, all those are in Sambodhana Prathama Vibhaktihi. Then, te namaha astu. Tubhyam te. So, Chaturthi Vibhaktihi. Salutations to thee or salutations to you. Tatra tubhyam te iti agachati kalu Chaturthi Vibhaktau. Yushmat Shabde. In Yushmat Shabda, that is which starts with Tvam, Yuvam, Yuyam. I hope you all have memorized by now. So there you have in Chaturthi Vibhakti Tubhyam Te. So Te Namaha Astu. Idanim Nutana Pathaha. Samskrita Vangmaya Parichayaha. Bhasaha. Bhasaha iti ati prasiddhaha kavihi Samskrita Bhashayam. So, as you know, every lesson we are getting introduced to some aspect of Sanskrit literature. And in this particular lesson, we are getting introduced to a very great Sanskrit poet, a playwright called Bhasaha. So, Bhasa is a very ancient poet in Sanskrit. In your book, they have given you the plot or the story of his play called Swapna Vasavadattam, which is considered to be his masterpiece, and which is one of the most famous plays authored by Bhasa. So Bhasa is so ancient that even Kalidasa mentions him in his Malavikagnimitram. So in Kalidasa's work, Malavikagnimitram, he pays his tribute to Kavis or his to great authors, Sanskrit poets, playwrights like Bhasa. So from this we know that Bhasa lived prior to Kalidasa. Many of the Sanskrit poets, they do not really give us any history or details about themselves, but the way we understand when they lived, etc., is through their works by other scholars or poets mentioning about them in their works. So therefore, very often we get a range of when they a range of years of when they lived, and scholars and historians have their own opinions on that. But all said and done, Bhasa is one of the most ancient poets, one of the most ancient playwrights, authors in Sanskrit, and he lived prior to even Kalidasa. And some of his, there are many of his great works. There are 13 works which he has, which we have found in, I mean, there might have been many others also. And Swapna Vasavattam, like I said, is one of the very important and a masterpiece of Bhasa. His play called Swapna Vasavattam. So all of you can read in the textbook. You have the play is given, it is described. So please go through that. Before that, in brief about Bhasa. So while Bhasa's name was mentioned in Sanskrit literature, like for example, I said Kalidasa himself in Malavikagnimitram, he mentions about Bhasa. However, till very recently, that is till 1913, we did not have all the works of Bhasa with us. So in 1913, a very great Sanskrit scholar, a Sanskrit professor, researcher, Mahaupadhyaya Ganapati Shastri from Kerala. So he discovered certain talavrinta, that is palm leaves, inscriptions on palm leaves in Trivandrum, near Trivandrum, or maybe in Trivandrum. And then he conducted research, and then they read as to what was written on those palm leaves. And then they found Bhasa's works. So Bhasa, many scholars opine he lived in BC. So at least as old as 1st century BC is what many accounts tell us. And he authored such great plays. But till 1913, we did not have all these with us. And we should all be indebted to, like I said, Sri Ganapati Shastri Mahodaya for bringing to light these, for discovering these palm leaves and which had Bhasa's plays, and for bringing to light these plays of Bhasa. And like I said, they were found in Trivandrum. And with a lot of research, etc., these 13 plays have been attributed to Bhasa. Who knows how many more he might have authored, or even other poets, how much of literature we had. And another very interesting observation is that while from Kalidasa onwards, a lot of playwrights and authors in Sanskrit, they adhere to the rules of Natya Shastra of Bharata Muni. So Bharata Muni has authored Natya Shastram, as all of you will know, which is a treatise on the performing arts. And those who are into performing arts like theatre, in the Indian performing arts like theatre and also Indian classical dance, etc., would be aware of these rules which Bharata has given us in Natya Shastram. And he also gives us, about Navarasas. What are the 9 rasas which are evoked by any performance, like Shringara, Hasya, Karuna, Raudra, Veera, Bhayanaka, Bibhatsa, Adbhuta, Shanta, etc. Very great work. A lot of research has been done by scholars on this work also. So Bharata in the Natya Shastram, he lays down certain rules or certain prescriptions on how a play should be authored. So there are certain do's and don'ts. So, for example, one cannot show the scene of, say, extreme violence or war or death scene on the stage. One cannot bring like certain things are prohibited to be brought on the stage. For example, if I'm not wrong, fire is one such thing where live fire on stage is not allowed. So such things are given to us, like there are certain prescriptions, like I said, for a play in Bhasa and in Bharata's Natya Shastra, and what all a play should contain. And from what I have read in during my when I read certain things, from what I have read is that also there is, Bharata does not, he looks down upon or does not allow a tragic ending to a play. However, we see that a lot of Sanskrit poets and playwrights have adhered to the rules of Bharata's Natya Shastra, but Bhasa is one such where scholars tell us that some of his plays do not adhere strictly to the rules of Bharata's Natya Shastra. For example, from what I've read in Uru Bhangam, there is, that is about the end of Duryodhana, and very tragic end it has. Where how Duryodhana met his end in the Mahabharatam with that fight Gada, by the fight with the mace by Bhima, and Bhima strikes his thighs, and that's how Duryodhana meets his end. So that is Uru Bhangam. Then another Karna Bharam, I think, is another play about Karna, how he meets his end, etc., which have tragic endings. So in this way, many Sanskritam scholars, researchers opine that Bhasa's plays do not strictly adhere to the rules of Natya Shastra. From Kalidasa onwards, mostly, more or less, all the plays adhere to the rules of Bharata's Natya Shastra. So what is the inference from this? Again, we are not, those who are in this field are definitely more experts, will be able to tell us. But the inference is that maybe Bhasa was even prior to, Bhasa's works predate even the Natya Shastram probably. Or even if Natya Shastram existed, probably Bhasa didn't adhere to them. So these are all certain inferences we can draw, because like my Sanskrit teachers always used to tell me, most of it Sanskrit authors, poets, playwrights have not given much account about themselves. So we have to just deduce from what we have. And all this on who Bhasa was, and also it is a very, being such a great playwright, it is still 1913, we didn't have his works. They were there, we were not aware of them. So I wanted to share that we need to be greatly indebted to Shri Maho Mahopadhyaya, Ganapati Shastri Mahodaya, for bringing to light these plays in 1913, though Bhasa, authored them probably in BC itself. So anyway, it is our fortune that we have these plays with us today. And Swapna Savadattam is his masterpiece. So there are many plays by Bhasa. I told you Uru Bhangam, Karnabharam. Madhyama Vyayogaha is a one-act play, again, which is a very, very famous play about Bhim, Tan, Ghatotkacha, etc. So Madhyama Vyayogaha is one. If I am not wrong, I think Madhyama Vyayogaha has been offered as a course in Vyoma by Dr. Shobha Vasuki Mahodaya. So if you're interested, please sign up. A wonderful play. It's a completed course, but have the recordings. And Pratima Natakam, another very famous play of Bhasa, based on Srimad Ramayanam. That has also been offered by Dr. Shobha Vasuki, great Sanskrit scholar and teacher in Vyoma. So you will be able to, if you sign up for the course, that is also, I think, probably come to a conclusion, or maybe just ending the course, because it started a while ago. So you'll be able to know more about Pratima Natakam. Pratima Natakam and Abhisheka Natakam of Bhasa are based on Srimad Ramayanam. And a few plays are based on Mahabharata. Shamyatam, sorry. Mahabharatam. Like Uru Bhangam, Karnabharam. Balacharitam is based on childhood of Krishna. And Swapna Vasavadattam and Pratignya Yogandharayanam, these two are based on a very popular king called Udayana. They are not based on Ramayanam or Mahabharata. But the plot of these two, and Swapna Vasavadattam is considered to be the crowning glory of Bhasa. So the plot is in these two surrounds around this king called Udayana, and both Pratignya Yogandharayanam and Swapna Vasavadattam have interrelated plots, interrelated stories. And there is this king called Udayana. You please read it in your books. So he is married to a beautiful queen called Vasavadatta. And in one of the plays, I think in Pratignya Yogandharayanam, he describes how Vasavadatta used to learn the veena from Udayana, and both of them fell in love and they got married. And in the book, you only have the plot of Swapna Vasavadattam, where what happens is Udayana's kingdom is under threat. And to protect his kingdom and regain some territories, he needs to form an alliance with the king of Magadha. And for that, it is necessary that Udayana marries Padmavati, who is the daughter of the daughter or sister. Sorry, I'm not very sure. You will have to go through the book. Just a second. I will just confirm right now. So he has to form an alliance with the king of Magadha in order to marry Padmavati. Padmavati's elder brother, sorry. So in order to regain them, the help of Padmavati's elder brother was necessary. So this alliance was necessary. The king of Magadha had to help Udayana to protect his territories. Therefore, Udayana was supposed to marry Padmavati, and Udayana is already married to Vasavadatta. So Yaugandharayana, who is a very astute and a very sharp, a very able minister in Udayana's kingdom, he hatches a plot along with the queen Vasavadatta. So for the welfare of the kingdom, both the minister Yaugandharayana and Vasavadatta, who is the queen and the wife of Udayana, both of them think of a plan. And what they do is they create a series of events where Udayana is made to believe that Vasavadatta is no more, that she met her end in a fire somewhere. So Udayana is in grief. He believes that Vasavadatta is no more. This is just a story, like I said, just a plan created by the minister and Vasavadatta for the sake of the kingdom, because they wanted Udayana to marry Padmavati so that they can get an alliance with the king of Magadha, and with his help, they will be able to protect the territories. For that, both Udayana and Vasavadatta and Yaugandharayana, they think of this plan. So then Vasavadatta is not in the kingdom. She is in disguise. And then what happens is Yaugandharayana, again through his efforts and through the efforts of Vasavadatta, they make Udayana to meet Padmavati, and Padmavati and Udayana get married. Later, then of course the kingdom is all protected, and Vasavadatta knows all this. All this is happening along with her consent, and this is also, she has also contributed to this plot because she wants to save the kingdom. And she knows that as long as Udayana knows that she is alive, he will not marry another lady. Therefore, he is made to believe that Vasavadatta is no more. And the climax of this play is a dream. So after the objective of the marriage of Padmavati is achieved and all that, then when Vasavadatta is still in disguise, then Udayana is asleep, and in his dream, he says the word, he calls Vasavadatta. So then Vasavadatta hears this. And later, like I said, once the objective is achieved, this climax is in a swapna, in a dream. Therefore, the play is named Swapna Vasavadattam. And once the kingdom is protected, etc., then Vasavadatta and Yaugandharayana reveal the truth to Udayana, that this was a plot hatched by them for Udayana to enter into this marriage alliance with the Magadha kingdom, as in with Padmavati, so that the Magadha king helps Udayana protect his territories and helps Udayana in his kingdom. Then they reveal this to Udayana. So these are the characters, main characters in the play. Maharajaha Udayanaha Patni Vasavadatta Padmavati. Like I said, she also marries Udayana. And Yaugandharayana, who is a very astute and a very able minister. So Pratigna Yaugandharayanam is another play where again the same Yaugandharayana, Vasavadatta, we have all these characters, and Swapna Vasavadattam. So Swapna Vasavadattam is praised for many reasons by Sanskritam scholars. And what I've heard when I was in my school days, I had watched this play being staged. So there, what I heard was that an introduction to the play. This play has many characters, and Vasavadatta, she did this for the welfare of the kingdom, giving up her own selfish interest. So Bhasa has brought out the best in human traits and the best of human nature, the best of human characteristics in this play, without any negative, either negative characters or negative feelings, or feelings of jealousy and things like that. And that is, they say, is the beauty of this play. So with all the characters, they display the best of human traits, and including, like I said, Vasavadatta and Padmavati. So this is what I've heard is one of the very important aspects of this play, and it's considered to be one of the best of Bhasa. Okay. I will just take Pani Mahodaya's question before we move ahead. So he is asking us, when they write these plays, do they follow the storyline of the original text, or do they use some of their own creative storyline? It is both, Mahodaya, and also your question, we'll have to answer it based on each play. So we will not be able to give you a general answer. But for example, let me take the example of Abhignana Shakuntalam. I think I already discussed this in class, but in brief, the very famous play of Kalidasa called Abhignana Shakuntalam. In this, the plot is derived from Mahabharata. And in the Mahabharata, Shakuntalopakhyanam is a short story about Bharata and Dushyanta, who are the ancestors of Pandavas, Kauravas, etc. So it's a story which happened before the generation of Pandavas and Kauravas in that same dynasty. So there what happens is, just you have a very short story of Dushyanta meeting Shakuntala in the forest, and they have a son, Bharata. Bharata grows in the forest and he's 10 years old. Then Shakuntala's foster father, the Rishi, he realizes that now it is time for Bharata to go to his kingdom and meet his father. He cannot be growing in the ashram itself. He has his duty to protect the kingdom with his father. So then he sends Shakuntala and Bharata to Dushyanta's kingdom, and there is a Ashariravani, a voice which tells Dushyanta to accept them, and Dushyanta accepts them. A small story. But in Abhignana Shakuntalam of Kalidasa, he brings in a curse by Durvasa Muni, and who curses Shakuntala that Dushyanta will forget you. Then she loses the ring also, which Dushyanta had given her. So when Shakuntala goes to Dushyanta's kingdom, and she is still expecting then Dushyanta has completely forgotten by virtue of the curse. And then Shakuntala is taken to the heaven by her mother, and there the son is born. And then Dushyanta suddenly remembers after some time. He goes in search of Shakuntala and he goes to heaven. There he finds Shakuntala, and the boy is playing with cubs, and tiger cubs. To distract him, his Shakuntala's friends say, Shakuntalavanyam Pashya, see the beauty of the words. The boy listens to the word Shakuntala, and then he says, where's my mother? So this is the climax of Abhignana Shakuntalam. And then Dushyanta realizes, he's my son. So all this other thing about Shakuntala and Bharata, her son, being taken to heaven by Shakuntala's mother, and all these things, Durvasa's Muni's curse, They are all imaginations of Kalidasa. So as poets, they give their own plot also, even though it is based on some Purana or Itihasa. So that is poetic license, and that is how they enhance the beauty of the kavyam also, right? So sometimes, even though it is based on a particular a text, it could the poets or the playwrights can give their own twist, their own imagination to the story. And Swapna Vasavadattam Pratignya Yogandharayanam, like I said, they are not based on any Itihasa or Purana. They are based on a famous story of King Udayana. So it is like, I mean, the creative genius of the poet or the playwright we can see in all these works. So they need not adhere strictly to what is said in, if it is based on any other work. So I hope that answered your question. Katha idani. Daivameva param. Daivam, that is, Daivam, there are multiple meanings to this word. It can mean fate, it can mean God. So Daivam eva param. Daivam only is ultimate. Ekaha ahi tundikaha asid. There was a snake charmer. Saha sarpan grihitva jivanam karoti sma. So he used to catch hold of snakes and earn a living and carry on his life. See, karoti sma, tatra sma iti padasya prayogam pashyantu. Sma iti yadi vayam upayogam kurmaha tada vakyam bhutakale bhavati. So we learned that whenever sma is added to a latlakara verb, the meaning given is past continuous. So the snake charmer used to carry on his life, or used to live by catching hold of snakes. Ekada saha ekam sarpam anayati. Once he brings a snake. Ekam sarpam anayati. Sorry. Sarpam petikayam sthapayati cha. Sarpam, the snake, petikayam, in a box, sthapayati. So he places the snake in a box. So here all these words, sarpam, you should be able to know the vibhakti by now. Saha ekam sarpam anayati. So ekam sarpam, these two words are in dvitiya vibhakti. Sarpam petikayam sthapayati. Sarpam again is in dvitiya. Petikayam is in saptami, because it is telling us where, locative case. Petikayam, like Ramayam, akaranta strilinga shabda, petikayam sthapayati cha. Pratidinam sarpasya pradarshanam karoti. Pratidinam, every day. Sarpasya, shashti vibhakti ekavachanam. Sarpasya pradarshanam karoti. He shows the snake every day. Jivanam karoti. He carries on his life, or this is how he lives. Kadachit ahitundikaha anyam gramam agachat. Kadachit, once, ahitundikaha, the snake charmer, anyam gramam agachat. He went to another village. Tatra anyam gramam iti padadvayam dvitiya vibhaktau asti. Tasya patni putraha api agachan. Ahitundikasya patni, his wife, tasya shashti vibhakti ekavachanam. Patni, putraha, they are in prathama vibhakti, we all know. Patni, ikaranta strilinga, prathama vibhakti ekavachanam. Putraha, akaranta pullinga, prathama vibhakti bahuvachanam. Api is avyayam. Agachan, we know it is langlakara, past tense. Tasya patni putraha api agachan. They also went with the snake charmer to another village. Sarpaha petikayam eva baddhaha asid. The snake was bound in the petika, in the box itself. So the snake was bound in the box. He did not take the snake with him. And saha sarpaha tatra petikayam eva baddhaha. Panchadinani abhavan. 5 days went past. Ahitundikaha na agachat. The snake charmer did not come back. So here please note the difference. Agachat means went. Agachat means came. So this is again an upasarga, like I said. When upasarga is added, it becomes came. So agachat, agachat. We should know the difference and be careful while using them. So ahitundikaha na agachat. The snake charmer did not come. Sarpasya aharaha eva nasti. The snake does not have food at all. Then what happened? Saha petikataha bahihi gamanaya prayatnam akarot. So petikataha bahihi. So because the snake did not have food, he tried to go out of the box. Saha bubhukshitaha asit. Bubhukshitaha bhoktum icha bubhuksha, which means, when someone is hungry, the desire to eat. Gantum icha jigamisha. We have words like this in Sanskrit. So bhoktum icha bubhuksha. Saha bubhukshitaha asit. He was very hungry. He was hungry. Ataha shaktihi nasti. Therefore, he did not have strength. Vipalaha abhavat. It was in vain. So his efforts to go out were in vain because he was hungry and he did not have strength. Tada petika samipe ekaha mushakaha agachat. So then what happened? Near the box, a mouse came. Saha petikam apashyat. He saw the box. Petikayam bhakshyani santi iti mushakaha achintayat. Petikayam, in the box, bhakshyani santi. There are eatables, so there are food items in the box. Iti mushakaha achintayat. So the mushaka, the mouse, thought that there are eatables in the box. Randhram karomi iti saha nishchayam akarot. Randhram means hole. So the mouse thought, Randhram karomi, I will make a hole. Iti saha nishchayam akarot. Nishchayam, decision. So he decided that he will make a hole, thinking that there are eatables in the box. Anantaram saha randhram kritva antaf pravesham akarot. Then he made a hole and he went inside. Antaf pravesham, he entered inside the box. Mushakaha sarpasya mukhe eva apatat. To the ill fate of the mushaka, the mushaka fell into the very mouth of the snake itself. Sarpaha mushakam akhadat. The snake ate the mouse. Tena randhrena eva bahihi agachat. With the same hole, in the same hole which was made by the mouse, tena randhrena eva. Tena randhrena tritiya vibhakti ekavachanam. Tena randhrena eva bahihi agachat. So he got his food and he also went out of the box. He was freed from this, bondage. Like he was freed. Where when he went out of this box in the same hole or with the same hole which was made by the mouse. So daivameva param. So fate is ultimate, or whatever has been decided, that is ultimate. So there is a very famous line in Sanskrit. Lalata likhita rekha parimarshtum nashakyate. Lalata likhita means whatever is written on the forehead, as in whatever has been decided, pre-decided by daivam, parimarshtum nashakyate. That cannot be erased. So this is one example of daivameva param. There are many. Okay, just petikayam sthapayati cha. Sujata Rani Bhagini. Cha means and. So it means and he places it in the box. That is the meaning. Kutra asti tat vakyam petika. Ekada saha ekam sarpamanayati sarpam petikayam sthapayati cha. So here, this is the sentence you've asked me about. Once he brings the snake and so even in English we say and he places the snake in the box. So that is why cha is used here. Petikayam sthapayati cha. Cha is an avyayam which means and. One thing to notice in Sanskrit, the sentence construction need not be, or in many cases is not similar to English. So in English, we don't end a sentence with and. But in Sanskrit, many times a sentence is ended with cha, and it is correct. And I think I explained to you in another class. In Sanskrit, however you put the words in a sentence, the sentence will still be grammatically correct, and it is correct to usage also. So, for example, sarpam petikayam sthapayati cha, sarpam cha petikayam sthapayati, sarpam petikayam cha sthapayati. All you in any way you can say that would be correct only. So very commonly we find cha being used at the end of a sentence, and that is correct. It can be used in the middle also, no problem. So the last part of the story, aho sarpasya saubhagyam. So what good fortune, aho is an exclamation, sarpasya saubhagyam. Oh, what good fortune for the snake, mushakasya daurbhagyam, the ill-fated mouse, or ill fortune for the mouse. This is the meaning of the story. Samskrita vyavaharaha katham. Katham ityukte how. It's a question word. Swasthyam samichinam asti. Health is good. Swasthyam katham asti. How is health? So for that question, you get the answer. Swasthyam samichinam asti. Geetam ramaniyam asti. The song is beautiful. Geetam katham asti. How is the song? So that is how we use this word katham. This is a question word. Then Vriddhaha mandam chalati. The old man walks slowly. Mandam. Vriddhaha katham chalati. How does the old man walk? Chhatraha shlokam uchchaihi vadanti. The students chant the shloka loudly. Chhatraha shlokam katham vadanti. How do the students chant the shloka? So this is the meaning of katham, and this is the usage. So please also note that you have examples in your textbook. I've been repeating. Please go through the textbook also for the examples. Rules for joining letters. So we will learn about sandhis later, probably not in Pravesha, but we are getting introduced to how Anuswara rules are there. So those who have attended our chanting courses will know this by now. We very commonly use this in our shlokas while chanting. So when there is a panchamaksharam of every varga and a vargiya vyanjanam. So when an anuswara is followed by a vargiya vyanjanam. For example, I'll give you more examples. For example, Vasudeva Sutam Devam. So when you see here that Devam Anuswara is followed by Vasudeva Sutam, there is an Anuswara there. It's followed by the word Devam. It is a Vargiya Vyanjanam. Which Varga? Tatha Dadhana, Ta Vargaha. In such a case, what happens to the Anuswara? It gets the last Anunasika Akshara of that particular Varga. For example, let us take this only. Vasudeva Sutam Devam. So here, when you say Sutam, there is a Anuswara. The next word is beginning with de. So then what happens when you combine? It becomes N. Vasudeva Sutan Devam. So if you combine and chant, it will be Nta. Because, so this Anuswara, when it is followed by any Vargiya Vyanjanam, the Anuswara gets replaced by the last letter of each Varga. So if it is Anuswara plus Ka, it becomes Nka. If it is Anuswara plus Ga, it becomes Anga, like Ganga and Ankaha. So Anuswara plus any letter of Kavarga, it becomes, the Anuswara is replaced by Ng, that is the last letter of Kavarga. Similarly, Anuswara plus any letter of Chavarga is replaced by Nya. The Anuswara is replaced by the last letter of Chavarga. Similarly, Anuswara plus, which is followed by any letter of Tavarga, is replaced by N. Because the last letter is N, the Anunasika Aksharam. And similarly, Tatha Dadhana, Tavarga letters, when they follow an Anuswara, the Anuswara is replaced by N. Like we said, So when you chant separately, it would be Vasudeva Sutam Devam. But when you chant together, it will be Vasudeva Sutam Devam. No, you are not chanting the Anuswara completely. The Anuswara is replaced by N. Why N? Because the letter which followed the Anuswara is the. In Vasudeva Sutam Devam, the is following the Anuswara and the belongs to this Tavarga. Therefore, it gets replaced by the last letter. The Anuswara gets replaced by the last letter of Tavarga, which is N. Similarly, here, Papababhama, the Anuswara gets replaced by M. That is the last letter of Pavarga. We will see some examples. Very commonly, we come across in our chanting. Okay, so Gam plus Ga, third letter of Ka group, it becomes Ganga. Then Sam plus Charati, it becomes Sancharati. You see how the Anuswara is getting replaced by the Anunasikaksharam, or the fifth letter of the Varga, of the same Varga, that is the Varga of the letter which is following the Anuswara. So here, Gam plus Ga. Ga belongs to Kavarga. Anuswara is getting replaced by Ng, which is the fifth letter of Kavarga. Here, Charati, Cha is in Chavarga. It is getting, Anuswara is getting replaced by Nya, and it is becoming Sancharati. Here, Anuswara is followed by Ta, and Anuswara is getting replaced by N, Kantakam. So this is how these are the rules for joining Anuswara. And here, plus Taha, Tavargam. So here, Antaha. Shankaraha, Sham plus Karaha. Anuswara followed by Ka. You see, it is getting replaced by Ng, the fifth letter of Kavarga, Shankaraha. Similarly, Chanchalaha. Anuswara followed by Cha is getting replaced by Nya, and it is becoming Chanchalaha. Mam plus Danam. Anuswara followed by Da, and Da it is getting replaced by N. And then Vam plus Dana. Anuswara followed by Da is getting replaced by N, or which is the same letter, which is the same Varga as the fifth Anunasika Aksharam of Tavarga. So Vandana. So now we have already learnt when Anuswara is followed by a Swara, then it becomes a Gunitaksharam only, like Griham plus Agachati, M plus A becomes Griham Agachati. That is just nothing but a Gunitaksharam. Griham Gachati becomes Griham Gachati. Both ways you can write. You can write it like this also, it is correct, separately, or you can write together combining like this. Randhram Karomi, Randhram Karomi. So see how the Anuswara is getting replaced. While writing, you can write in either way. Okay. So I hope these rules of joining Anuswara are clear. Now we will move to Subhashitam. Chayamanyasya kurvanti tishtanti swayamatape phalanyapi pararthaya vriksha satpurusha iva. Punah ekavaram pathishyamah. Chayamanyasya kurvanti tishtanti swayamatape phalanyapi pararthaya vriksha satpurusha iva. So, chayam anyasya kurvanti tishtanti swayam atape phalani api pararthaya vrikshaha satpurushaha iva. So it is about vrikshaha or trees. Anyasya chayam kurvanti. So anyasya for others, chayam kurvanti. They make shade for others. Swayam atape tishtanti. However, they themselves, swayam atape tishtanti. They stand in the hot sun, but they make shade for others. Phalani api pararthaya. They bear fruits. Fruits are also for others' sake. Api also, for others' sake. Vrikshaha satpurushaha iva. Vrikshaha, the trees are like good people. So beautiful, Subhashitam. So we learnt this. Chayam is Dvitiya Vibhakti Ekavachanam. Anyasya Chaturthi Ekavachanam. Kurvanti Kriyapadam Latlakaraha Prathama Purushaha Bahuvachanam. Tishtanti Kriyapadam Prathama Purushaha Latlakaraha Bahuvachanam. Swayam is Avyayam. Atape Saptami Vibhakti Ekavachanam. So these numbers you see here, they denote the number of the Vibhakti and the Vachanam. Or here it denotes Prathama Purushaha Bahuvachanam. I mean, I'm explaining it to you, but please familiarize yourselves with Sanskrit numbers also. So when I say Atape, it is Saptami Ekavachanam. So what is written here is 7/1. So Saptami Ekavachanam. Saptami Vibhakti Ekavachanam. Vrikshaha Anyasya Chayam Kurvanti. Trees make shade for others. Vrikshaha Swayam Atape Tishtanti. They stand in the sun themselves. Phalani, here again, Phalani is Prathama Vibhaktihi Bahuvachanam. Api Avyayam Pararthaya Chaturthi Vibhaktihi Ekavachanam. Vrikshaha Prathama Vibhaktihi Bahuvachanam. Satpurushaha Prathama Vibhaktihi Bahuvachanam. Iva is Avyayam. Phalani Api Pararthaya. Fruits are also for others. Vrikshaha Satpurushaha Iva. Trees are like noble people or Satpurushas. There are many Subhashitams in Sanskrit speaking of Paropakara. So Vyasa himself, it is believed that when he was asked to give his entire, he classified the Vedas, he composed Mahabharatam, the Puranas, and when he was asked to give everything in a gist in one line, it seems he said, Paropakara punyaya papaya parapidanam. Helping others is to one's merit, punya, papaya parapidanam, and hurting others is one incurs sin. So Paropakara has been given so much importance, and Subhashitas therefore are, not just for literary interest, but they are guides on how to live and for a very meaningful and a very peaceful society. So another Subhashitam very similar is Paropakaraya phalanti vrikshaha. This is another Subhashitam. Paropakaraya phalanti vrikshaha. The trees bear fruit for the sake of others. Para upakara, for helping others. Paropakaraya vahanti nadyaha. The rivers flow for helping others. Paropakaraya duhanti gavaha. The cows give milk for the sake of helping others. Paropakarartham idam shariram. This human form or this human body is for the sake of helping others. This shows how one must lead a selfless life. There's another very great Subhashitam. Shanta mahantaha nivasanti santaha vasantavat lokahitam charantaha tirna swayam bhima bhavarnavam tat ahetuna jnanapi tarayantaha. So this, my Guru, Mata Vidushi Anantalakshmi Natarajan Mahodaya always says, so Shanta Mahantaha, so the great Satpurushas, the Mahapurushas, the realized souls, they are Shantaha, they are themselves very peaceful in that state, that ultimate spiritual state. Nivasanti Santaha, they are great people. Vasantavat Lokahitam Charantaha, so they help or they promote welfare in society like the spring season. Vasantavat lokahitam charantaha tirna swayam bhima bhavarnavam tat. So they have themselves crossed the ocean of samsara, and ahetuna, without any cause or without expecting anything in return, anyanapi tarayantaha. So they have themselves crossed the ocean of life, ocean of samsara, and without expecting anything in return or without, having any selfish interest, they help others also to cross this ocean. So many such wonderful Subhashitams on Paropakara. So trees, despite standing in the hot sun themselves, provide shade to others. They also provide fruits for others. Hence, trees are compatible to good people who endure hardships in order to bring welfare for others in a selfless manner. Okay, so with this, we complete the 6th chapter. So I just wanted to introduce Guru Shabda today. I will just read it out and then we will conclude today's class. Ukarantah pullingah Guru Shabdah Guruhu Guru Guravah He Guru He Guru He Guravah Gurum Guru Gurun Guruna Gurubhyam Gurubhihi Gurave Gurubhyam Gurubhyah Guroho Gurubhyam Gurubhyah Guroho Guruvoho Gurunam Gurau Guruvoho Gurushu. We will repeat this in the next class also. Because we have already run out of time. So I will give you an opportunity to chant in the next class, but please memorize. I hope you all have memorized the Shabdas we have covered so far. Rama, Rama, Vana, and Asmad Yushmad, Tad Shabda, all 3 lingas. Kim Shabda, Etad Shabda. We have also done Nadi, Matihi, Harihi, and now we have done Guruhu. So as and when we complete the Shabdas, please try and memorize them by the next class. So with this, we have concluded the 6th chapter. You will have an Abhyasa class, exercise class as usual on Saturday. I will see if there are any questions. Chaya with Vaidya Bhagini, Evam Jnatva, we can combine it as Evam Jnatva. Vatsalaji, these Subhashitams, okay, I will try to compile them and send them to you. These, what happens is when you are discussing a particular Subhashitam, many other related Subhashitams come to your mind. So that is why I just share them with you to, to experience the beauty of this wonderful bhasha, this wonderful language and its literature. Though it is not there in the syllabus, you don't have these Subhashitams, others in the syllabus, but still it is very nice to know these other Subhashitams as well. So I will try and send them to you, Vatsalaji. There has been a course by Dr. Shobha Vasuki Mahodaya on Subhashitam itself, various Subhashitams compiling. You can sign up for that, and also all the PPTs recordings will be available. So you can just go to the course page and download the Subhashitams there also. That in that way also you can learn. There is a book, a collection of Subhashitams called Subhashita Ratna Bhandagara. So maybe you will find it in any of the Sanskrit stores or Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan Vedanta book house. You could check Subhashita Ratna Bhandagara, which is a collection of beautiful Subhashitams. Subhashitams are found in various works. It could be in Ramayana, Mahabharatam, or works like Kalidasa and others also. And some are just famous Subhashitams which are known. So multiple, the Subhashitam itself is a huge, an ocean of shlokas which we have in Sanskrit. Okay, so let us conclude as usual with Shanti Mantraha. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sarvebhyah dhanyavadaha. Agami Ravivasare Punarmilamah.